Chapter 14 mini lecture, I chose to take a look at the quest for personality. I think it was like the first section of the chapter. So in a quest for personality, humans have a long-held belief in the value of personality itself. There's been minor truths about trying to decipher different personalities in the world, but in general, humans have a lot of value in their personality and what they think they most identify with. So there's a long history about the ideas of personality. So for vocab, we have the personality types, which are particular combinations of behavioral characteristics that tend to occur together. And then you have astrology, which is a theory that a person's birth at a particular time of the year endows them with one of 12 personalities. So Galen, he was an ancient kind of thinker. He came up with 4 fundamentally different types of fluids or humors in the body. The 4 humors would make a person healthy and happy, and a disease would cause imbalance or disease or shift in mood. So an overabundance of different humors, this was a section. So choler is the abundance of yellow in quotation marks. It means energetic or overly energetic. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Cholera, I don't know if you heard of that. What? Anyway, sanguine is blood. It's outgoing and overly optimistic. Melancholic is an excess of black bile, which means overthinker, depression. And phlegmatic is an excess of mucus, so shy and slow to anger. Today's views about personality is that while a small number of different personality traits can be defined, varying degrees of those traits can be combined in an infinite number of ways. So essentially that means that while everybody is different, there are certain characteristics or traits that are combined and have been repeatedly seen in different combinations in different people around the world. So then astrology is based on birth month. Astro just means star in Latin. Astrology is referred to a pseudoscience today, and people refer to horoscopes all the time in terms of astrology. Horoscopes are kind of based on your birth month or zodiac sign, what your life is going to look like. It's kind of a way to tell what's going to happen, but it's kind of hard to define as that too. Anyway, so then we have Freud focused on the unconscious, and we'll talk about Freud in a bit. So for this vocab, we have psychoanalysis, which is the process developed by Sigmund Freud of making a detailed analysis of a client's mind through open-ended discussions about thoughts and feelings. So about anxiety disorders or phobias or any other mental problems or things that need to be talked about. The unconscious is the part of the mind that functions outside of our awareness. And then there's 3 parts of the mind, according to Sigmund Freud. So the id is Freud's term for the part of the mind following the pleasure principle. The ego is Freud's term for the part of the mind that tries to fulfill the goals of the id within the limits of reality. And then your superego is Freud's term for the part of the mind that incorporates the rules of behavior that a person learns and accepts from other people. A defense mechanism is an unconscious physiological process that protects the ego from realizing and acting upon socially unacceptable urges of the id. And rationalization is a defense mechanism of making intellectual excuses for unacceptable behavior. And then neurosis is mental disorders characterized by anxiety or avoidance that interfere with everyday functioning but are not accompanied by delusions or hallucinations. So Sigmund Freud, while a very great psychologist, had very little impact on psychology as a science. He used psychoanalysis on patients with phobias, anxiety disorders, and much more. And then Freud also emphasized the unconscious and brought much attention to the unconscious process, and he rejects the subconscious. And that is what I have for chapter 14.